Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly. Okay, first, before we start this review, I got to talk to Dr. Heavenly. Okay, now Dr. Heavenly, the mask don't go like this with the nose hanging out of the mask like so. As you see here, the nose is not in the mask. This is incorrect, Dr. Heavenly. Okay, and so what I'm gonna need you to do is the mask goes like this, Dr. Heavenly. It goes like this, over the nose, okay, over the nose area and the mouth, okay? I just wanted to point that out because every time I saw Dr. Heavenly in the scene with the mask on, she had the mask down like this at one point in time, okay, in the scene, all right? So we just had to point that out to you, Dr. Heavenly. You know, ain't no shade in it, but a little shade in it. You know what I'm saying? Skye Squad, we are back in the building now. You know, we talking about this good Married to Medicine. Our girls are back. Finally, it has happened to me. Married to Medicine new season premiered last night, so you know we got to talk about it. We got to get into the headlines. Toya goes off blast Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Simone. Jackie and Dr. Simone still going at it. I feel like this beef between Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie about to be anticlimactic. I'm gonna need for it to build up to something other than some type of passive-aggressive verbal sparring match that really just includes talk about PPE at the hospital, okay? And then last night, Toya went ballistic and storms off in a scene that just seemed a little team too much for me, okay? It just seemed too much for me, and we'll talk about it, okay? We'll talk about why, but I'm glad the ladies are back. And let's go ahead and stage dive into the episode. Now, first things first. We gotta rate the episode, okay? And we're gonna rate it for a premiere episode, and I'm going to give this episode an 8, okay? I'm gonna give it an 8 because I just kind of felt like, and maybe it was me, but it felt like something was missing. Now, what could have been missing? I don't know. What could have been missing? Could have been Quad? Could have been Mariah? I don't know, okay? I don't really know. I mean, it's hard to tell. It's the first episode. It could have been the fact that we didn't get a proper introduction to the new girl. She just kind of randomly showed up on the scene, okay? I don't know. Just something seemed a little off last night. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Overall, though, I did enjoy the ladies being back. It was refreshing to see them back. I love these stories with these particular women. So I'm excited. I'm excited all around, right? And the other thing that I wanted to point out was that before we even dive in, what I like about this, and I'm gonna mention it later on, what I like about Married to Medicine is they don't skimp on giving us the fabulosity that we deserve with spectacular views of the ladies' homes, okay? We want to see extravaganza. We want to see the extravagant lifestyle. We want to see all of that. I mean, that is a part of the reason why we're watching these shows, to escape from our own realities and to see something even bigger and even better than what we live like, okay? Or at least, you know, I mean, we want to see that. And so to see the dynamics of each of these ladies, you know, just layered homes, it was just amazing to me. So I love that. I absolutely love that. We begin the episode, we flash back to the Married to Medicine reunion that happened, and we were reminded it was in 2019. That feels like such a long time ago to me. Like, it was literally the end of 2019 that we was getting this reunion, and I'm like, dang, it's been a long time, okay? So they show that with the intent to repair new friendships. You know, Simone and Jackie and Dr. Heavenly had all seemingly hugged it out, okay? They also addressed the panorama, okay? And the doctors indicate that while they wanted to rehash and work on their friendships, there was really no time to focus on those things because they had to deal with the panorama, okay? And we're still dealing with that in this episode. We also deal with the death of George Floyd, the protests. We talk about all of that right off the rip, which I was happy about, right? I'm slightly confused by Dr. Contessa's crown, okay? Is it a crown? Is it a tiara? What is it? It looked like it light up, okay? It looked like there was little miniature light bulbs in it. You know what I'm saying? Was it light bulbs? Was it lit up? Was it lit up like a Christmas tree? I don't really know. I feel like it could grow on me, and maybe I'm not really educated on what it means, because it could be something symbolic, okay? I'm willing to be wrong about it, but I'm just confused by it at the onset of the episode, okay? But there was something that she said. She says, other people are finally joining into the struggle that we were born into. And I found that to be quite compelling, okay? So we get into this whole situation with Dr. Damon's mobile testing. This is the first real group scene. And I feel like this whole notion of a testing or mobile testing is going to come back up from what I am hearing and what we've heard from the previews and the synopses that have been posted out there. So we're going to come back to that at some point. But Dr. Heavenly's there. Dr. Jackie is there. Contessa's husband is there. Okay. Dr. Jackie has to remind Dr. Heavenly to put the mask over the nose, as I stated earlier. Okay. Heavenly wonders why Simone ain't there, and if Simone is still mad. This is foreshadowing. Simone is still mad. I'm just going to let y'all know, okay? Jackie hasn't heard from her, okay? And neither has really, Dr. Heavenly really hasn't heard from her either, okay? Jackie wanted Simone to defend her against Buffy. Cue the flashbacks to Buffy, who was a very big part of last season. She should have been a main character because I think she had a lot to offer with regards to her perspective, her difference with the ladies, and the resolution with them as well. I would have liked to have seen that story continue, okay? But Jackie also really hasn't heard from Simone at all, okay? Other than a, hey girl, hey, okay, across from the hospital parking lot, okay? Now, for Dr. Simone, the panorama put life in slow motion for her, and she's at home more. She says that her relationship with Jackie is at a distance, but she only wants to be surrounded by family and close friends, okay? And then comes the Shade Brigade. My interpretation of this whole situation is that Simone is really seemingly over this friendship, okay? Either she's over it or she's still harboring some resentment and anxiety because ultimately she feels as though Dr. Jackie did not choose her when it came down to the friendship between either Dr. Heavenly or Dr. Simone, as if Dr. Jackie could not be friends with both ladies, okay? And similarly, Dr. Jackie feels like Simone did not have her back when it came to Buffy and what happened between the two of them last year, okay? So they both at a stalemate at this point. Now, she's playing hoops with her son. This is Simone. She's playing hoops with her son. He's worried about racism because he's going to college in Tennessee, okay? He's on a basketball scholarship. She's worried about who's going to buy all the, the prophylactics, okay? And he's like, I don't use those, mama, okay? They had a little jokey moment. I appreciated this scene. Anyway, we get into an advertisement for Toya's new house, and it is lit. And so is this Jeep that Dr. Eugene is driving, okay? I need this Jeep. I am getting a Jeep. That Jeep was sick, okay? So he's got to undress when he gets home, okay? And I'm going to tell you, low-key, so does Babe got to undress and shower when you get home because you're working up in these hospitals, okay? And you're working around the patients that's got the panorama. So when you get home, you got to take off the clothes and you got to get undressed and you got to go shower, okay? So everybody, we see everybody do this, okay? Toya is upset because they can't go to their vacation in Italy for the anniversary. And she upset because this man has spent most of his time at work. I mean, this is literally anybody who is with somebody who works in the medical field at this point. Because really, what people who work in medicine do they're saving lives. So ultimately, in order to get through this, we need those people working. Okay, that's it, Toya. And I do feel you on what you're saying, because to a certain degree, we have to be true to ourselves and understand what we need and what we want. But you gotta understand that these people are saving lives as well. Okay, so that's that. We get to Dr. Contessa's house. And she didn't finish her program in the Nashville, thank the Lord, okay? But hopefully she finished before all these cheating things started, because, you know, that's going to be a big part of the season. So my mind is wondering if the man did cheat. Now, I don't know that he did. We don't know what's happening yet. Was it during the time when you was in school? That's what I want to know, okay? Because if you had to be all up into the Tennessee or whatever you was to finish this program, you know, is this when the things was popping off, you know, while you was gone? That's what I want to know, okay? Now, Scott, Dr. Scott, I ain't trying to put you down, but what I am saying is, what happened? Who was it? Is this real? What's really going on? And did it happen while she was in school? That's what I want to know. Dr. Jackie's house is looking good, okay? She done the construction and to turn the thing into a Vanderpump Palace, okay? It's looking real good on the inside, and I'm so loving seeing the progression of these African Americans. It's just nice to see, okay? Curtis comes in with the groceries. He got to wipe them all down. We all been there. Not really much happened here. She's still upset about her friendship with Dr. Simone, okay? Heavenly's throwing a party for Dr. Damon's 50th. Dr. Jackie feels like she needs to take the initiative. She doesn't feel like she wants to take the initiative to repair the friendship with Dr. Simone, okay? She says, Simone needs to miss me like I miss her. And Curtis advises that somebody's got to make the first move. And that's true. Somebody does, okay? But Dr. Jackie is like, it ain't gonna be me, okay? So Dr. Heavenly is getting ready for the jamboree. She still got that mask down on her nose, okay? Girl, come on now. You got these shields. Put the mask on your nose, girl. You know, I know you know. Here's the thing. I understand that you get a little, first of all, it can be hard to breathe if you're moving around a lot. Also, a lot of these people have already been tested, so the mask is really just for show and extra protection. So I get it, but at the same time, I mean, if you're gonna show it on television, show it the right way. You know what I mean? Anyway, and this is where I actually had my realization that I wrote this here. I said, what I realized is that the producers have focused on the glamour of these women's homes. And I like that they did that. You know, it's not just Married to Medicine and they're showing the marriages. They're also showing the marriages, the ladies' relationships with each other, you know, the juxtaposition of a married doctor versus a married doctor's wife, you know, as well as the extravagance with which these ladies live. I like that. So we get Toya and Anila and Simone headed to Dr. Heavenly's in a Sprinter. Toya is already heavy on the Patron. We learned that Anila is Toya's almost neighbor who seems very super lit, okay? She seems extra lit and extra invested in what, for what all we know is, girl, you too new to be this invested, but I guess that's how you get a paycheck around here, Chuck. I don't know, okay? Anyway, to Toya, Simone says that she wasn't really angry with Dr. Jackie. Okay. It seems to me like Simone wanted Jackie to choose her instead of Dr. Heavenly. Toya thinks that Dr. Heavenly is the problem, and Heavenly also feels like she needs to be a part of fixing Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone, okay? So Jackie and Contessa are headed out together. And Jackie is wondering where Dr. Contessa is going in her glittery outfit, okay? Because she's thinking that she's going to a backyard barbecue. Contessa is headed to the VIP at the club, okay? So Contessa wants to know what's going on with the relationship with Jackie and Simone. Jackie again misses the friendship and wonders where they went wrong. We learned that it's been 23 years of friendship. And Dr. Contessa surmises that Jackie and Simone are basically two old stubborn chicks, okay? Two old stubborn ladies who don't want to get it together, okay? Now, My theory on this situation is that this is going to continue to be a passive-aggressive thing with no real fireworks that ever happen, because Dr. Jackie is not a screamer or a yeller, but Simone is. And Simone is not going to scream and yell at Dr. Jackie. She's just going to be passive-aggressive with her and shade her in her confessionals. This is the way I see this whole situation playing out. I could be wrong until they have some level of conversation, which we did see in the preview. So we'll have to see how it happens and how it progresses as the season goes, okay? But I think from what we know from Dr. Heavenly and her interviews, that her and Dr. Simone really aren't in the best of places still. And this is even after the season has finished, okay? Anyway, all the ladies arrive at Dr. Heavenly's house. Simone is preparing for Dr. Heavenly's shave because she realizes that it's 10 times deadlier than the panorama, okay? And that could be true. Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie, initially, they don't speak, okay? And Dr. Simone throws a little shade in her confessional. But then Dr. Jackie does go up to speak, and they get into the most awkward discussion about PPE at the hospital. It was like, what? They both relieve when the conversation ends because Toya gets in the way, okay? And Simone gives Dr. Damon a card with a $50 bill. And for some reason, Dr. Heavenly goes into a proclamation about how they have a near perfect marriage. It just seemed odd in the timing. Like, we know you and Daddy got the goods, okay? We understand that. I didn't understand why she needed to profess it at that moment. Maybe it was something that we didn't see. Or maybe she just wanted to advertise. Who knows? It's her house. She can do whatever she want to do, I guess. Anyway. The guys are having a discussion about their past, experiences with racial profiling. And at this point, I realized that I felt like I was missing something in the episode. And I was like, and I wrote this down. I said, is it me or is this episode missing something? And there did seem to be a gaping hole in the episode in some way, shape, or form. There was something missing, some type of effervescence that I feel like we tend to get from Mariah and Quad's over-the-top behavior and isms. You know what I'm saying? Because they both got a lot of things that they do that are kind of catchy and cute and you know what I'm saying? That really give life to the show. And I feel like I'm hoping that we get some Quad coming up in here soon to add some of that effervescence to the sauce. Because I feel like you already have a great meal. It's like having some type of, it's like you got a good meal here, but let's just add some seasonings and some decor to liven it up a bit. You know what I'm saying? Now, so the ladies get together for their little ponderosa because you know it's coming because it's the end of the episode. Anyway, Toya is tearing up these crab legs. Dr. Heavenly wants specifics about why she and Simone haven't spoken. She apologizes again and she says that she misses her, but she ain't gonna kiss her booty. Now, Simone is about to get into the discussion, but Toya interrupts and says, y'all being fake. Y'all rolled on the floor. Give me some crab legs, I want some more. Okay, she's all up in a Twitter. She's in a frenzy over this whole conversation, which really has nothing to do with her. And honestly, everybody looking at her crazy, and Dr. Heaven is like, Toya drunk, okay? And I would tend to agree. But what I also felt like is, and I don't know if maybe she felt some pressure to turn up the volume. I don't know if producers said, this scene is boring. I'm gonna need somebody to turn this up to a 10. I don't know what it is. And it could have been that up until this point in the season, nothing major had really happened. And so the producers needed somebody to wind things up. And Toya was that person. But it just seemed like it came out of nowhere. And it was definitely unwarranted because it felt like somebody was going off about a situation that didn't require going off about. But that was just my take on the situation. I want to know what y'all think about it because I was kind of like, does she feel like she needs to be the person that turned? And I like Toya, okay? I like Toya. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it felt forced. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel authentic. It was missing something that I feel like, when there's nothing like, and I always say this, there's nothing like a good Mariah versus Dr. Heavenly. Those be some epic arguments and some epic moments. And I could have seen Mariah taking that stance at Dr. Heavenly's because they always got a contentious relationship. But that's just me. So we'll see how this whole situation plays out. We'll see if Anila can rise to the occasion to give us that effervescence that we need since we don't have much of Quad or at Mariah at all in this whole situation. But I want to know, how do you feel about this season so far? Are you excited about it? I know I am. We're going to continue these recaps. And with that being said, guys, I will catch you in the next video.